DRE 3.4 has been released and it brings loads of exciting changes to the ever-growing spotter for iRacing. In this video we'll take a look at the new shiny bits that you can enjoy in 3.4, accelerating your sim racing experience.
Are we good on fuel here?
Hello there, my name is Eagle. I am the developer of Digital Race Engineer, also known simply as DRE. It's a virtual assistant in your iRacing garage, feeding you critical performance data while you are driving. On top of this, DRE comes with more than 400 speakable commands, allowing you to control your racing better. So DRE is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. Since the initial release back in 2016, I've added and added features and improvements to it. Over time, this pile of additions has increasingly become more challenging to maintain without a proper structure. Simultaneously, over the past few years, personal life-changing situations have created an opportunity for me to now do something about it. I've taken the step to become a full-time entrepreneur to take DRE into the future. I'll discuss this further in a later video, but for now, let me just say that it's really exciting times for both me and for you to enjoy the content going forward. So for this new update, I've had the time to go deep with DRE and its logic. I've overhauled most of the now 6-year-old code and essentially proven it for the future. There are improvements to calculating session duration, resulting in way better prediction in fuel usage, positioning and timings. On top of this, there are now more commands and alerts than ever, better controller/joystick support, and a complete check on critical code logic. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video to learn 3 important things to do in DRE to get the best experience. But first, let's take a look at the new features in 3.4. All links can be found in the description below. First up, I've done a complete overhaul of how DRE calculates session laps to complete. It might sound a bit dull, but this calculation affects driver positions, fuel estimations, timings, and much more. The previous solution had several blind spots causing unintended butterfly effects, which have all been fixed now. It's absolutely fantastic news, but at the same time, this is something that you might never notice since it runs more smoothly and correctly now. The Alert Fuel Now command alleviates you from making fuel calculations by triggering DRE to do this for you. Autofuel is a feature that automatically sets the required fuel to the end of the session.
Autofuel engaged, adding 51.0 liters.
We discovered a bug when the similar feature autofuel was turned off and you called the Autofuel Now command manually. These bugs have been fixed, resulting in more logical and natural behavior. Don't you just hate when you forget to set race fuel? I know I do. That's why I created the grid fuel warning.
Started gridding. 4 minutes 57 left. This session is 45 minutes. 35 joined. Go get them. Are we good on fuel here? We have 20 liters left in the fuel tank.
This alert triggers from suspicion of low fuel levels in the car when going to the grid. It attempts to estimate fuel needed with some margin and compares that to the amount actually in the fuel tank. Should the race be more than one complete fuel stint, DRE will also take this into account. This feature makes gridding foolproof and it avoids less than optimal race starts. One feature that has been revived and adjusted is the race simulation in practice sessions.
Because it looks like you're inside a simulation inside a simulation.
With this, you can prepare for significant racing events. This feature overrides the practice session time and laps left, so DRE acts like you are in a race, and so should you. In 3.4, this feature has now been improved. It now features two new alerts, the race simulation started and race simulation completed alerts.
Race simulation started, 1 minute 27. Simulation run has completed.
The started variant triggers when you exit the pits, and it completes when the overridden time or laps run out. The timing and laps calculations here have also improved from the general improvements to DRE. You should really go and check it out. Simply set the race sim overrides in the launcher driving section. I've spent a couple of fun weeks improving proximity alerts for drivers approaching you from behind. It's also quite an overhaul actually. These alerts now take into account changing gaps of the drivers who are already in your proximity. The alerts will update if openings suddenly occur or close in the traffic. This should give you a better heads up of when to rejoin the track.
10 coming up. Go in 6 seconds. Go. You have 23 closing. Go in 14. Go. 1 near. Clear behind.
I've also put a great amount of effort into timing proximity alerts much better. For example, when you are off track and need to rejoin, DRE will anticipate the gap earlier to allow you to accelerate and then slot back in on the track. It should be a much smoother operation to blend back in. All proximity alert speaks have been sped up to provide more rapid information in the heat of the action. And finally, these proximity alerts will be more consistent about calls when you have multiple cars around. Off-track alerts now include both the total number of your incidents and how many of those who were off tracks.
7 incidents, 3 of them off tracks.
This change allows you to get a better impression of your evil behavior. Opening the launcher now happens much quicker, as things are loaded in the background. Improvements have also been made to the loading speeds of the controls page. Everything has been quite accelerated.
Accelerate! Accelerate!
DRE is now 64-bit to comply with voice attack going forward and to allow for more memory and optimized speeds. Finally, controller and joystick bindings through DRE have seen a great amount of optimization when polling. Previously, this was quite intensive on the CPU, relatively speaking, but it should be much more relaxed while keeping the same polling rate. Although being a slightly older feature, the shared team data feature is definitely worth mentioning here. Fuel, oil, water, temps and levels are now shared between teammates driving in the same team and using DRE. It's only the driver who needs a pro license to share his data with the others. Fuel left.
There's 7.5 liters left.
Fuel left.
You have 6.9 liters left in the fuel tank.
By default, iRacing does not send information between teammates, but with this feature you can ask DRE for fuel left, engine health and so on. The best thing is that there is no setup required. Just simply go and get the data when spotting or watching your teammate drive. DRE takes care of sharing this fully automatically.
Solution is automation.
I want DRE to become better at giving you an insight into how others around you are performing. One of the first additions is the striking distance alert.
Max will catch you in 3 laps. Decrease lap time by 2/10 to avoid it.
It works for multiple cars in front and behind, so if any of those seem to be closing in on you, you will be alerted. With this information, you can change up your pit strategy or focus on improving your lap times to either avoid or complete an overtake on that car. I love how DRE now looks into the future and predicts actions coming up. And there is more to come. Lastly, I want to mention the iRating gain position alert.
As of now, you need a P8 to increase our iRating.
In official races, DRE calculates the needed finish position to gain iRating. It's simple, but quite effective. It might relieve you from too much focus on chasing high iRating in a race, as you will now know the minimum goals to improve that iRating. This allows you to relax and have more fun.
It's fun!
So now for the 3 tips to improve your DRE experience. Let DRE automatically start and quit other third-party applications when you enter an iRacing session. In the DRE launcher, head to the File Starter section and add an app. You can also open PDFs, images, or any other files you want. One neat thing is that DRE can put the focus back to iRacing after the apps have started. Teach yourself more DRE commands. Check out the DRE website to see all available commands. You are most likely using less than 10% of them right now, but learning more commands will help you make better racing decisions. And relating to learning more commands, if you find yourself overwhelmed by the vast number of commands in that list, fear not. Check out this linked article which explains how to quickly understand the command structure. Knowing this makes memorizing commands way simpler. More stuff has gone into this release, so if you're into the nitty-gritty bits, check out the full changelog in the description. So that's it. I hope you have a great time using DRE 3.4. I want to give a special shout out to Michael Reutmann for doing extensive testing on this update. Like this video if it sparked an interest in you to try some of the new features. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of assistant you long for when sim racing. And finally, if you want to hear more about the future of DRE and stay in the loop, hit the bell icon when subscribing to this channel. Happy racing!